It's been generations since the original Astro Knights disappeared, but hope is not lost. Step into the shoes of a ragtag spaceship team and see if you have what it takes to become the next Astro Knights and save the universe! Hello! My name is Milo, and today we're going to do a teach and play video of Astro Knights Eternity. So, depending on when you're watching this, you might be able to check it out on Kickstarter. We're going to include a link in the description below. If you're new to Astro Knights, welcome. This is very exciting. So we're going to walk you through gameplay, what you're going to do on your turns, and we're going to be doing that as we're playing the game itself. So you can follow along with us. And if you have played Astro Knights before, that's great. We're going to be showing you what is new and highlighting those elements as they come into play. So in a moment, JP and I are going to set up the game and get started. So why don't you come join us at the table? Okay, so we are set up and ready for Astro Knights Eternity. But before we get started, I just want to mention that everything you see here right now is a prototype.
That's right, that's right. And we're making this video in support of the Kickstarter campaign to bring Astro Knights Eternity to life. And the folks at Indie Boards and Cards have all sorts of little tricks in their sleeve, up their sleeve, to make this the most sparkly, shiny version of Astro Knights Eternity possible. That's the whole point of Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely. So Astro Knights Eternity, much like the original, is a cooperative deck building game.
And it's not just any old deck building game. The whole idea of the Astro Knights system is that unlike normal deck building games, when you play through all your cards and you got your discard pile that's full, you shuffle that thing up and get ready to go again. Not the case in Astro Knights. In this one, once you get rid of all your cards, you take your discard pile, you flip it face down, and you just start drawing cards again. Lickety-split, just like that.
Just like that. We start with 10 cards each, and as the game goes on, we're going to be gaining cards from the supply, which is right over here. So we're going to be buying those cards and adding them to our deck and building the deck as the game goes on.
Right. So I see there are purple and orange and green. What does all that mean?
Yeah, so the orange cards are always going to be weapons. It'll say weapon right there on the orange card. We have green cards, which are tech, and then purple cards, which are fuel.
And so they each have like a mechanical purpose to be in your deck. That's very cool. Milo, how do we win the game?
So there's only one way to win, and that is defeating whichever boss you're playing. In this game, we're going to be playing the Solar Collision, but in the first game you'll play of Astro Knights Eternity, you would actually be, defeating Dorathian Behemoth. So, in the game we're playing right now, the health is 60 points, and so we want to knock that down to 0. And if we can manage to do that, we would win. Now, that being said, there's only one way to win, but there are 3 ways to die or lose. And those are, A, we unfortunately get down to 0 on our homeworld health. So that's one way. Option number 2, all of our players are exhausted. And then option number 3 is the boss levels up, but actually can't level up because they've already reached their maximum.
Now, I'm looking here at the Solar Collision boss mat, and there's actually a 4th way to lose this scenario. And that's this little track here. If this little token gets all the way to number 14, I think this sun blows up and takes us all down with it. That's kind of scary.
Yep, that's right. So there are 3 ways to die, except sometimes bosses have slightly different rules and setup, so make sure to read each boss mat very carefully.
Right. And so, Milo, the next thing I see that is unfamiliar to me as a player of the original Astro Knights game are these 5 cards in the middle here. What are those about?
So these are called Inventions. These are a new mechanic to the game, and Inventions are, kind of similar to the supply cards. We've got the weapons, the fuel, and the tech, but unlike the supply, each player will claim one of these cards at the very beginning of the game. They'll sort of call dibs on that card tuck it under their player mat, and then later they can purchase it.
Oh, I'm calling dibs on this green one here. This one says it's Terra Key. It has a cost of 2, and it has an ability that says the homeworld powers up, and I may destroy a card in my hand. So I'm going to tuck that under my player board. And what are you going to claim dibs on, Milo?
Well, I'm definitely going to grab the Molten Core right here. So, as you might notice, this has a red bar on the side here. Now, this is also a new mechanic. This is called the Afterburn. And what this means is when it is in the discard pile, you can still use the Afterburn effect. So normally when you play a card, you get to use whatever ability is down here, but the Afterburn is specifically made for your discard. And the way that they have it made on the side is so that you can splay your discard pile and be able to see all of the Afterburn effects that you have available to you. And you can use those in your main phase. So I'm going to claim that.
Very nice, very nice. And while you're claiming that, there's something else I noticed that is new to me. And that's these 3 cards here. What are those about?
Yes, so those are combos. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to claim a combo, and what combos do is you're going to pick an ally of yours, and if your ally does a very specific thing, you're going to gain a benefit. So what does yours say?
So mine here says when player X, and so I've got a blue token on here.
Yep, that's to mark the blue, which is the number 2, which is Caleb right here.
Okay, so when the blue player, when Caleb deals 5 or more damage on a turn, I return a card from my discard pile and put it into my hand. That's great. And for myself, I've got a red token here. So it has this. So when I play 2 tech cards, and I'm already starting with a tech card, so that's helpful. When I play 2 tech cards on my turn, Zach can draw 2 cards.
And then Caleb, his thing is triggered when Zach powers up. I can gain a card and then discard a card.
That's so cool. So we're going to have to be paying attention to each other's turns to make sure that we don't miss out on those opportunities to get those little bonus actions.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot to think about, and I'm really excited about all of these different mechanics. And you know, there's even a couple that we haven't even come to see yet.
Exciting, exciting. Well, Milo, I think are we all set to start playing this game?
We sure are.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Pow!
Okay, so we are ready to play. We are set up for a 3-player game, even though there's 2 of us. I'm going to be playing Caleb, who is the captain of the Bobcat, and also Zach, who you might recognize from the original Astro Knights, so he's back.
And I'm playing a character that isn't in the very first scenario. Along the way, we meet Rex and Shieldbow, and that's who I'm playing as.
Awesome. I think we're ready to start.
All right. How do we start? How do we know whose turn it is?
So, this turn order deck right here, we're going to flip over a card, and that's going to tell us who goes first.
All right, let's do it.
Let's see. Okay. So player number 3 is Zach. So Zach's starting hand are these cards here. And we actually know that because on the back of every player mat is the starting hand and then the starting deck. As well as, you know, some cool facts about them and a little bit of background. Let's see here. I have 4 fuel cards, which are the purple ones. And then I have one weapon. Oh, you know what? I actually have 1 slot, and the slots are where you place your weapon. So I can hold up to 1 weapon right now. So I'm going to equip that weapon there. Perfect. Now, I have 4 energy to spend. I'm going to look over here, and I have 4. Oh, you know what? This is a special deck that is added to the supply during this scenario that we're playing out. It's normally not here, but in this scenario that we're playing with, it is added. And I'm actually going to buy one of those. So I'm going to use these 3 cards to purchase that one. So I have 1, 2, 3 energy to spend. So I'm going to purchase that and place it straight into my discard pile. And this card that I have here also says if you have 1 power or less, which I do, power up. So I'm going to power up, and then I'm spending these 3 cards here. So I do have 1 card left over. It's just a power core, and I can choose to discard that if I want, or you know what, I can save it for the next turn, which I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to keep this and then draw back up to 5.
There's one other thing though. I think maybe Caleb gets something every time Zach powers up. Am I right?
You know what? You're totally right. Yep.
Combo.
Perfect. So I'm going to pick up Caleb's hand, and it says draw a card and then discard a card. So I'm going to draw one, and I'm going to discard a power core. Perfect. So that was not Caleb's turn. It was just him doing his combo.
Very cool.
So let's see who's next.
All right. Wild. What's the wild mean?
So the wild is a token that's in a 3-player game. It's randomly given to a player at the start of the game. We gave it to Caleb. So Caleb is going to take the wild turn, and then at the end of his turn, we'll pass it over to Rex, and it'll just sort of go in a circle like that. Caleb is going to take his turn. He has 2 weapons and 3 fuel. So Caleb also only starts with 1 slot, so he can only have 1 weapon. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to equip that first weapon, and then I'm going to spend 3 energy to increase his slots to 2. So I'm going to spend those and then add his other weapon. So now he can carry up to 2 weapons just like that. And then I'm going to take these and add them to my discard pile and pick up 4 cards, but you're supposed to pick up 5. So, like we went over earlier, I'm going to take the discard pile and then just flip it over and draw another card.
Very cool.
And this will move down to you.
So as soon as somebody uses their wild token, the wild token moves.
Yep.
Gotcha. I understand now. All right, so that's the end of your turn?
That's
the end of Caleb's turn, I should say.
Yes.
So we'll see what's next. Boss turn. Boss turn. Solar collision.
Okay, so looking at the boss mat, there's a couple things going on. There's this track, which we went over earlier. These things are going to trigger on these sort of like starburst spaces. We will have to flip over those. We'll get to those later. But for now, we're just going to flip over a card.
This says Asteroid Shard. It's a minion, so that's one that stays out until we deal with it. It's got 5 health, and it has the activate. And the activate now, we've already passed the activate phase of the boss turn. Is that right?
Yeah, normally anything would activate at the start of the boss turn, but there were no minions out, and the level 1, which we're currently on, doesn't have any activate abilities. But later levels, when the boss levels up, might have activate things. So we'll keep an eye out for those later. So that's the end of the boss turn. Not so bad.
All right. That's it?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right. Well, doesn't seem so bad. I think we can overcome that. Couldn't possibly get any worse. So we're ready for the next turn.
Let's hope not.
Let's
I don't
hope.
want you to jinx us.
Now, oh my gosh!
Oh, no.
It's another boss turn.
You did this.
You did this. Oh. All right.
Okay.
So this activates now.
Yep.
Because we're at the activate phase of the solar collision. So this moves forward. I can't believe you blamed me for. All right. If the solar collision is at level 3 or higher, it's not. So we ignore the rest of that. But then we draw another card.
Yes.
Another solar collision card. It's a strike. All right. So a strike is something that happens immediately,
Yes.
and then the card goes to the discard pile, and it'll come out again when we get to level 2.
Nailed it.
All right. So this is a nuclear fusion. The home world suffers 3 damage. So that happens right now. And then we advance the supernova again. Oh my gosh.
Woof.
Woof. Indeed. All right. All right. Well, that's happening. Player 1. Hey, that's me. It's Rex and Shieldbow. Now, and Shieldbow isn't just a clever name. It's also the mechanic of Shieldbow. Shieldbow is actually going to start with 4 health. And so I'm going to grab that from our little cup here. Oh, and I should put 5 health on the asteroid shard. I'll put 5 health on the asteroid shard. And so Shieldbow's got this neat little effect here, is that when a player would suffer damage, if Shieldbow has at least that much health, Shieldbow suffers the damage instead. Good. So Shieldbow can take damage for other players. I'm going to put you right there, Shieldbow. Perfect. All right, so I've got my cards. I've got 4 power cores for energy. What is the energy? Yeah, I got that right. All right. And then 1 blaster. So I've already start with 1 slot, just like Zach did. And so I'm going to equip that blaster. I've got my 4 energy. I could snatch up my invention right away. And can I buy more than 1 card from the supply if I can afford it?
Yeah, if you can afford it, go right ahead.
Okay, but I can't. Okay, so I'm going to spend 4 to gain this ectoplasm. And I see ectoplasm has this thing on there called Bolster, which is also new to Astro Knights Eternity. And Milo, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the way Bolster works is that if the game asks a player to discard a card,
on an ally's turn specifically.
Oh, on an ally's. Okay.
Yes, not if you discard on a boss's turn. Only an ally's.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. So this is, if this card gets discarded, and again, this is a discard ability, but not on your turn, not on the boss's turn, only on an ally's turn. So this will only trigger if Zach or Caleb ask me to discard.
Yeah.
So in this case, the bolster action is the actual player gains 1 energy. Return this card to my hand. Whoa, cool, nice. And then the regular activity for this card is to gain 2 energy. That seems pretty great. This goes to my discard pile instantly, and then these are the cards that I spent. I spent my 4 cards. I'm going to put those on top of the card I just acquired. I draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're on to the next turn, and that is going to be player 2.
It is Caleb's turn, so I'm going to pick up that hand that I briefly looked at earlier. I have 4 power core and 1 weapon. Oh, but actually before I get to that, at the start of your player turn, you may use any of the weapons that you have equipped. So I don't see any reason to save these. I'm going to use them right now. So this one says, deal 1 damage. Any ally draws a card. You know what? I'm going to let you draw a card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got no cards to draw, so I'm going to take my discard pile. I'm going to flip that face down and draw a card. Now I've got 6 cards in hand. Lucky me. Just drew that new card I just acquired at the market, at the supply area.
Perfect. I love that for you. I'm going to deal 2 damage because I'm also going to use this other weapon I had. And I'm going to deal 2 damage to the minion that we have out.
Now I understand now.
Now that that's out of the way, I have my slots that are open up again. I'm going to immediately equip another blaster. So tuck that in there. And let's see, I have 4 energy to spend. You know what? I'm going to gain 1 of these, which again are unique to this scenario that we are playing. So that is going to go to my discard pile. And that cost 3, so I'm going to add these 3. And you know what? I don't think I want Caleb to have this one in his hand. So I'm not spending this, but I can discard it. So I'm going to choose to do that. And now Caleb is going to pick up 5 cards. So we're going to have to flip over his discard pile and then draw 2 more. And that is Caleb's turn, which brings us to the end of the first round. We're going to have to shuffle this deck again and do it all over.
Right. I'm so thankful that you're the one controlling 2 characters, because I am just getting confused watching you do it. I'm just happy to have just one I guess with Shield Bow, I have 2 under my control. Okay, Milo, before we continue on to the second round of the game, there are 2 other mechanics that are part of Astro Knights Eternity that we're probably not going to see in this particular game. Can you tell us about those 2 final new elements?
Absolutely. So, the first one that you'll probably come across is this defeated right here. So this is specific to minion cards. And what this means is the player who defeated the minion is going to carry out that action when the minion is defeated. And the other mechanic that we haven't, talked about or played with is the team attack. So the team attack is something that you can work towards. On your turn, you can complete one of the 3 different requirements in order to eventually gain this reward.
Cool. So if we manage to carry out the 3 requirements here, the red, blue, and yellow activities, then we get to do this reward. In this case, this particular card says deal 12 damage, which is massive. It's almost a quarter of Solar Collision's hit points.
Yeah. There are some other team attack abilities as well, but we'll leave those to you to discover.
All right, should we get on to round 2?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, flipping the card. First up, player 1. I'm up. All right, and I'm also the wild player this turn. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is deliver my blaster attack. So I'm going to put that directly into my discard pile. Put that right there. Discard to deal 1 attack. And let's do another hit on the asteroid shard. Try to get that out of here. And then I got 6 cards in hand, thanks to a card that you played, Milo.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to equip my Glacial Ray. And I'll be able to do... Ooh, that's got a Shield Bow ability. Shield Bow! 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 energy I've got at my disposal. That's huge. There's nothing that costs... Oh, there is. Okay. Or I could get 2 gravity tethers, which would allow us to keep this low and give us lots of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could get... and that's got an Afterburn, which deals 2 damage. Oh, man. That's it. I'm doing that. So, 6 energy to get myself a Distilled Force. Goes directly to my discard pile. And I can do these. I can put these in any order in my discard pile, the cards that I spent. So I'm going to put the Ectoplasm on the bottom so that I see it again sooner. Then I draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Flip over my discard pile to grab the 5th card. And that's my turn.
Nailed
that's
it.
my turn. I did? All right. Didn't get anything wrong?
No.
Very good. All right. Player 2, Caleb.
All right. So, Caleb has those 2 weapons that we equipped the first time. So Caleb has these, but again, we're going to do a damage first because you can trigger your weapons. I'm going to do that. So damage to this, please. And then, perfect, I'm going to equip those 2 weapons again. And then I have 3 left over. Last time I spent these exact 3 to increase my slots. But you know what? I think this time I'm going to get a Tase Tethers. This looks good. And you know what? I feel like I want Caleb to be a little weapon heavy. So I'm going to add that. So I'm purchasing that, adding it to my discard pile first, and then I will add the cards that I spent to get it.
And that's nice because Caleb going weapon heavy means that there's a greater chance that you're going to deal 5 damage on a turn, which triggers my team ability. No, combo. My combo.
Yes. Perfect.
Right. Excellent. And I think there's one other thing that we haven't mentioned yet, and that's this power track here. The way the power track works, and Milo, again, correct me if I've got this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you get your blue track, your power track to max, that will allow you to trigger your main character ability that is unique for each character. and allow them to do something special that's a little bit more powerful. Is that right?
That is right. On your main phase, if you're all powered up, you can activate it. And the homeworld also has a power that we can power up. However, you can't spend power to power up the homeworld. You can only power up the homeworld through certain cards that are in the supply here. So as those come out, we might be able to power up the homeworld, and then it too has a power that you can use during your main phase.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. Let's find out what happens next. What do you think? Boss turn?
Double boss, that's what I'm
Double
thinking.
boss?
Again, yeah.
Wow, you're putting that stuff on us. Nope, wild. All right, Rex and Shield Bow up again. All right, I've got, that was my, that's my hand. I'm mixing up my hand and my draw pile. All right, so I've got this one here. So this is deal 1 damage. Shield Bow may suffer 1 damage. If it does, increase this weapon's damage by 1. And so I think I'm going to, maybe I'm not, because if I deal 1 damage, that'll remove the asteroid shard. And if I do 2 damage, it pretty much needs to go on to the boss. But we want to get rid of this, because we don't want this to happen again. And the boss turn's probably the next card.
I would say so.
All right, so I'm not going to do my, Shield Bow is not going to take a damage. I'm going to put this into my discard pile, doing 1 damage to this. This card goes to the Solar Collision discard pile. And now I'm going to equip another blaster. Got my 4 energy here. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to spend 2 to put the Terra key into my discard pile. So that's 2 spent. And the other 2 energy, I think I'm just going to put into my discard. I'm just going to discard them. That's that. That's what I did. I did what I did.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to snag this and bring it over to Zach.
Thank you for catching it.
And then, Zach. Okay, from player 3. So this is his hand, but this is going to trigger first. We're going to put that in the discard and deal 1 damage to the boss.
All right.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to immediately equip another blaster. I have 4 energy to spend, and I am going to take this, which has a cool Afterburn effect. So now that I've spent these 4 cards to purchase this Afterburn, it is now in my discard pile. So I could use this Afterburn effect. It only gives me 1 energy, so in this case it doesn't really do much for me.
So if I understand correctly, you've already spent all the energy from the cards in your hand.
Yep.
So now you've got this 1 extra energy, which doesn't do anything for us in this case, but in the future it might be a thing to take advantage of.
Yeah, and
I got it.
So I'm going to end my turn here because I have nothing else to do, but I'm going to keep this visible because you can activate it every main phase as long as it's in your discard pile. That being said, it is not in my discard pile anymore because I need to flip this over. 2, 3, 4, 5.
While you're drawing your cards, let's find out. I think we do have double boss because there's only 2 cards left.
Called it.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, so Solar Collision, nothing to activate. New card comes out. Burning Wreckage, this is a minion. Activate. So when this activates, let's put this up here. The homeworld suffers 2 damage for each other minion in play. Advance the supernova. Oh man. Okay. 4 health goes on that. And is that it for the Solar Collision turn?
That is it, but it is going to activate right now. All right, so let's flip this over.
There we go. So activate. The homeworld suffers 2 damage.
Okay. Boop, boop.
But there are no other minions in play. So we don't advance the supernova. Yet.
Key word.
All right. So we've activated the minion card. And now we draw the next Solar Collision card. Which is a strike. So any player, bring this over here, any player suffers 4 damage or activate a minion in play. If Solar Collision is level 3 or higher, do both. It's not level 3 or higher, so we don't do both. We've got lots of health. I would vote for one of us taking 4 damage. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. That doesn't seem so bad. Well, I've got 2 characters, so why don't I take the hit? Let's do Caleb. He seems tough. Doot, 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 doot.
All right. Thanks for taking the hit, Caleb. So now the Solar Collision draw pile is empty. So the next time Solar Collision would have to draw a card, the minion discard pile becomes the minion draw pile again, and that means the minion, not the minion, but the boss levels up. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we'll see that soon. All right. So Milo, while we're setting up for our 3rd round, of the new mechanics in the game, which is your favorite?
I think the combos are my favorite. They can be tricky to remember, but if you do remember, they are just so beneficial. What about you?
I really like we've played through to the scenario that involves the team attack cards, and I think those are really neat. All right, so we're starting round number 3. Let's go.
Player 2. So player 2 is Caleb. We're going to fire off both of his weapons. And again, we have that weapon which allows an ally to pick up. I know that Zach is going to have an extra turn this round, so I think it would be really great for him to have an extra card.
Good idea.
So I'm going to take these 2 damage and deal it to the minion because I don't like that minion that's in play. So 2 damage there. I'm going to draw for Zach and just place that on top. And now Caleb has these cards here. So no weapons, which is new for Caleb, but he does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy to spend, or we can push back the Supernova. The Supernova is only at 3, which isn't so bad. So I'm going to keep this as 2 energy. So I have 6 energy to spend right now. Let's see. You know what? I really like this remote detonator, which deals 4 damage, and any player may return a card with Bolster from their discard to their hand. That seems very great. So I'm going to put that over there, and I'm going to spend these 4 cards, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 energy to get it. And then I'm going to end Caleb's turn. So he's going to pick up. There we go.
All right, next turn is going to be Wild. So
Perfect.
Zach.
All right, so this here. So he has 6 cards. We're going to fire this off. And again, let's hit that minion.
For 1?
For 1.
Okay.
And then we're going to replace it with this blaster. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy. 6 energy. Let's do this one. This is another Afterburn. I feel like, yeah, let's make Zach have a bunch of Afterburn effects in his discard. That seems exciting. So we're going to add that to the discard. Now this card here says, if you have 1 power or less, power up, which I do. I only have 1 power. So I'm going to power it up to 2 using this card ability. And then I'm going to spend my last 2 energy to power up again. So I powered up twice right now, which will mean Caleb's thing triggers twice. So now that I have finished with Zach's turn, I'm going to place all of these in the discard pile for him. And then I'm going to do Caleb's thing for the combo through Zach, which is drawing twice and then discarding twice. I'm going to do them one at a time though. So I'm going to discard that and then draw again. And yes, discard that. Yep. Okay. So that was the wild turn. Boss turn. So this is going to trigger now, and then the boss will level up.
Right. So Homeworld suffers 2 damage.
Okay. Yeah, there are no other minions. Okay, so that goes down to 20. And then we're going to take the discard pile of the boss and give that a shuffle. And we're also going to level the boss up. Okay, so we will activate any instant effects. Those will happen right now. In this case, it says the minions in play will gain 2, as well as any going forward will come into play an extra +2. Which is lovely.
This game, it looks like it's getting difficult.
It's getting hot in here.
All right, we draw another card, right? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So this is not a minion. This is a strike. Solar Shockwave. We've seen this before. Any player suffers 4 damage or activate a minion in play.
So do we want to lose 2 health to the world or 4 health to one of us?
I feel like Zach's at 10, right?
Yep.
What do you think? Maybe Zach can take it for us?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
Thanks, Zach.
Okay, Zach attack. So he's down to 6.
Right.
And that is the boss turn.
Okay.
Ready for another?
Nope. Nope. Zach took the hit, and now Zach's going to strike back.
Perfect. All right, so this is his hand because his discard is full. There's no draw pile.
Does Zach want to zap?
Definitely. Let's zap the minion. Zap the minion in play.
Milo, I just want to point out that the boss has only suffered 1 hit so far. We've suffered a lot more.
I guess we better start attacking that boss.
Yeah.
Especially now that he's leveled up.
All I gotta say is shield bow. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, shield bow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Okay. Wait. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, no, 5, 6. This is worth 2, so I have 6 energy to spend. You know what? It's fine if Zach has a couple of weapons. That's never a bad thing. So yeah, let's spend 5. We'll keep 1 power core in his hand. Put these over here, and then flip over. 3, 4, 5.
Next up,
Perfect.
it's Rex. Not just Rex. It's also shield bow. All right, I got some cards. I got all sorts of so much energy. Big energy. Big Rex energy. Let's see here. So 5, 6, 7, 8 energy. Holy cow! I could get this sword breaker, but this Gigaboard would give me two of those green cards, which would help to trigger Zach's combo card.
That's true.
So I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah. All right, Gigaboard. This one says, so this one costs 7. Whoops. Any ally draws 2 cards. Any ally may discard a card. If they do, you power up twice. Woo. Fancy.
Cool.
All right, so that goes right into my discard pile, and I think I'm just going to discard this as well. That was nice. That was a nice. All right.
And did you?
Oh my gosh, I didn't. So before my turn began, I should have fired off my blaster. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
All right.
I believe this is the other boss card.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Time for some mouse sauce.
Bam.
Oh.
Okay, so this triggers, which is 2. Oh no. We're down to the teens now for our poor homeworld.
And new card comes out. It does another strike. The homeworld suffers 3 damage. Whew.
Oof.
And advance the supernova. 1, 2, 3.
Uh-oh.
And that triggers our first flare. Is that what it's called? A flare? Yeah, solar flare.
Okay, great.
Solar flare token. All right. What is underneath here?
Let's see. Something bad.
The players collectively lose 2 slots.
Ooh. Ouch. I will make Zach lose a slot.
Okay. What do you think? Between Caleb and Rex.
Let's see.
You've got a weapon heavy deck there, I think.
I do. I have 2 weapons that I'm hoping to play on his next turn. That
Okay.
being said, I also have 3 energy that I could spend to gain back the slot that I lose right now.
Well, I think I'm going to lose the slot because I only
Okay.
have those little dinky shots.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
Right. So now we are into our next round, right? We finished this. Did we draw? We already drew a card. That did that. So that's the end of the boss turn.
Yeah.
That was an epically disastrous boss turn. Milo, I have to say that, thinking about this game, and I don't know if we mentioned it, but there's a storybook. There's a narrative that links together all of these games together. And Astro Knights and previously the Aeon's End system, really cool game system. But for me, that story, that narrative really elevates the entire system in a really remarkable way. And I think folks that eventually, if folks decide to back this on Kickstarter, they are really going to get immersed into the Astro Knights experience with that story. Would you agree?
Yeah. No, I would absolutely agree. The story is it ties everything together and it makes it so much more enjoyable. You know what? I may have played this so many times that I have become an Astro Knight in my dreams. Once or twice it has happened.
I gotta tell you, Milo, I have always seen you as an astronaut.
Thank you.
All right, next round. Oh my gosh, boss turn. Boss turn. Here we go. This is the last card. This is the last card.
Ooh.
Okay. It's another minion, so it gains 5 plus 2, 7 hit points.
We're doing great.
You're lying to the people. You're lying to the people at home, Milo.
Okay.
So this activates first. So Homeworld suffers 2 damage.
Done.
And so there's no minion in play yet because I don't know why I got excited.
Overzealous.
Overzealous on behalf of Solar Collision. And then we drew this card, which now has 7 hit points on it, and that's the end of the boss turn. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. Next turn, please. Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
So this is bad. This is real bad. So first thing that happens, we activate these cards. So this first one, Homeworld suffers 2 damage. For each other minion in play, we advance the Supernova. So Supernova is now up to 7. And then this one, advance the Supernova again, which triggers another solar flare. Ugh. If Solar Collision is at 3 or higher, Homeworld suffers 2 damage. At least we're not there yet. Yet.
All right, let's see that flare.
Okay.
Flare scare.
Oh, flare scare. All right. Any player suffers 4 damage. And you know what? I think this is a good time for Shield Bow to do its duty. Shield Bow can suffer 4 damage.
Ooh,
for the team.
nice. Good save, Shield Bow.
Yeah, Shield Bow. Thanks for doing the thing for us.
So how does Shield Bow get more health?
Well, shield bow gets more health by maxing out my power. So if I maximize my power and then spend all that power, then I'll be able to recharge shield bow to 4 health.
Gotcha. Okay, well that's cool.
Shield bow.
Okay. We're done with the boss. We know that the rest of the round is just going to be us, which is great. I would love to forget about the boss for a hot second. Hot second.
Next up, wild.
Wild. And we are back over to Caleb, who was the first wild player. So he doesn't have anything in his weapon slot, but we can easily fix that. We're going to equip these 2 weapons, which seem to be his favorite right now. And then I'm going to take these 3 energy. Let's see. Do I want to get this? Power up. You know what? Yes, I do. I'm going to spend 2 energy to get this. So we're going to put that in the discard and then place the 2 energy on top. And I'm going to save this for the next round. So we're going to add 4 cards to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is the end of Caleb's wild turn. So this goes down there to you.
All right, player
now
2.
Caleb's turn
up again.
All right, so we're going to fire off these 2 weapons, which I just equipped. So this is the one where it says a player may gain... Oh, no, it's not that one. This is a new weapon, which we haven't been able to use yet. So this says deal 2 damage. Any ally may discard a card. If they do, and this is an opportunity for if any one of us had a bolster, they could discard. If they do, increase that damage by 2. So this could be a maximum of 4 damage. And then with this, that could be 5 damage. If you don't have a card that you can discard, I will make Zach discard. That way I can deal 5 damage on this turn, which will trigger your combo.
Right. Okay. Well, I can discard a power core.
Okay, perfect.
So I'll discard a power core. So that
makes this worth 4. So 2 plus 2 is 4.
Okay.
And then this other one is 5. We can deal 5 damage.
Nice.
Now, do we want to deal it to this big bad minion or to the big bad boss?
Wow. Like at some point we have to start dealing damage to the boss.
All right, let's do it to the boss then.
I mean, feel free to disagree with me. I'm not saying that I'm full of good ideas.
We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. It's just tricky because the less cards that are in the deck, the faster it's going to level up, which...
Right.
But I think you're right. Let's do the damage to the big boss.
Okay.
Let's get that started.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to the boss. Only 54 more to go. And also the combo triggers. So
yours.
Mine. Oh, right. When that player deals 5 or more damage on a turn, return a card from my discard to my hand, which is just this.
The one card you just discarded.
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay.
Things are just not going our way, Milo. I'm quite concerned about the fate of the galaxy right now.
Okay. I'm going to finish off Caleb's second turn in a row now. I'm going to equip these 2 weapons. Bam, bam. Which will be another 5 hits on his next turn. So you'll be able to use your ability again. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 energy to spend, or 2 energy and push back the supernova.
Push it back.
Let's do that. Okay.
Sorry, I don't want to quarterback.
No.
Quarterbacking, for folks who are watching who've never heard the term before outside of football, is when one player sort of try to force their will in a cooperative game. And I don't want to do that. I just got excited about maybe not losing, at least by this way.
Yeah, no, I was already thinking about it. So let's move that back 1 space.
Okay.
So I'm going to spend that. And then I have 2 energy left. I'm going to spend those 2 energy to power Caleb up.
Nice.
All right, so discard those. And then he's drawing. And we can flip over the next player card.
Okay. That's going to be
You.
Rex and
Shield Bow.
Yeah. All right. So there's my cards. I've got 5 cards in hand. I cannot equip my Glacial Ray because of slots. But I can play my Terra Key for the first time. But if I save it, I might be able to trigger this combo. Because then we can power up the homeworld. Okay. All right. I'm going to hang on to the Terra Key and see if I can deliver a combo. Famous last words. And I'm going to spend this 3 energy to bump my slot back up to 1 so that I can equip the Glacial Ray. Whoops. Donk. All right. So I'm saving that 1 card in my hand. I'm discarding these 3 energy. And then I draw back up to 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect.
Cards in hand. So that's the end of Rex and Shield Bow's turn.
Zack attack.
Yeah.
All right, so he has no weapons to fire off, but we are going to equip one right now. And then, let's see. Well, he also has a gravity tether. We could easily push that back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unless there's something for 6 that I think he really wants. Deal 1 damage. Return a card from your discard pile to your hand. Oh, attack. Deal 5 damage. You know what? This is really great. Let's do this, actually. So we're going to add that to the discard for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energy. And that is Zach's turn.
All right, so we're starting a new round.
Okay. Please don't be a boss card. Boop. Oh my god. I was right. It's a freaking boss turn. Okay. So, let's fire this off. Okay. Homeworld suffers 2 damage.
Oh, man.
And for each other minion in play, advance the supernova. So that's 1.
All right.
This goes down 2 spaces. It's down to 9. And then this one, advance the supernova again if solar collision. Okay, we can ignore that part. And now the boss levels up because there are no cards in play.
So this one goes away.
This one goes away. What does the instant effect say?
Minions in play gain 2 health.
Okay.
2. Man, the asteroid shard is now up to 9 health. And then we shuffle these cards.
These 2 cards we shuffle.
And in the solar collision scenario, we've got 4 levels to go through. And if solar collision would level up again, that's what triggers the edge. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. If it's supposed to go to a 5th level, the game would end.
And there's only 2 cards left in the solar collision draw pile. And now we draw another card. So, which is a nuclear fusion. The homeworld suffers 3 damage, down to 6 health, and advance the supernova, which triggers another solar flare.
Let's see.
The players collectively discard 4 cards.
Okay. I could do 2 power core from Caleb.
All right.
And probably a power core from Zach, and maybe a power core from you.
Well, how about I just discard 2, because I've only got 2 power core in my hand.
Okay.
So discarding 1 isn't particularly beneficial in that sense. Gosh, this is so hard.
It's brutal.
So hard.
Okay, so that was the boss turn.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, this will be a player's turn. Hey,
All right.
It's Caleb's turn. All right, so we're going to fire off these 2 bad boys. This one says, attack, deal 4 damage. Any other player may return a card with Bolster from their discard pile to their hand. Do you have any in your discard with Bolster?
I've got nothing but Power Core in my discard pile.
Okay, we'll see if I do in a second. And then this one fires, which is deal 1 damage, and an ally may draw a card. Do you want to draw a card?
Sure, yeah. Okay.
So 5 damage. Let's deal the 5 damage to...
Oh, 5 damage?
Yeah, 5
From
damage.
Oh! Return a card from my discard pile to my hand. They're all Power Cores. Combo. Okay. Combo. Gotta love that combo.
Wombo combo. Okay, so do we want to do 5 damage here or just to the big bad?
Gosh. Okay. 5 here, I guess?
Yep, okay.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel yes.
You feel yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Did that. What was the other thing I was going to do? Discard pile. Oh, Bolster, right. Let's see if there's a Bolster effect in... Aha! So, this is... I'm going to pick up this one because of the 5 damage. So I'm going to put that into his hand. Now, back over to Caleb's turn. We're going to equip this weapon. And then he has 3 energy to spend. Let's give him another power slot.
Ooh, so many power slots.
Or slots. Weapon slots.
Weapon slots, yes. Just slots.
Just slots. Okay. And now both of those are discarded. And that is the end of Caleb's turn.
All right. Turn order. Player 1.
That's you.
Rex and Shield Bow.
Shield Bow.
Shield Bow. All right. Cards. Well, the good news is that I've got 2 techs in my hand.
Ooh.
So, any ally draws 2 cards. Any ally may discard a card. If they do, I power up twice.
Okay. I will discard a card.
Boop. And which hero do you think should draw 2 cards?
I would love for Zach to.
Okay.
And then, because you're playing 2 techs in a second, this will also trigger.
Okay.
So, he draws 2 cards from the card itself, right? Yep. Perfect. And then, after you play this second tech...
Yeah, which will allow the homeworld to power up.
Boop.
And then I can destroy a card in my hand. So I'm going to destroy one of these basic Power Core cards. Zip. And so now, do you do your combo?
Now I do my combo. When player X, which is you, plays 2 tech cards on their turn, draw 2 cards. So I'm going to draw another 2 cards into Zach's hand. He's got a big old hand now.
I've got 2 cards left. Oh, gosh. I did it again, Milo.
Oh, no.
I didn't fire my weapon. Okay, well...
Glacial Ray.
Well, here's what I'm going to say, is that I have to suffer the consequences. I have to be responsible for my decisions or my indecisions or not following up on the things I'm supposed to do. So this has to stay in. However, I've got Distilled Force, which gives me 3 energy, which I can use to bump up a slot.
Okay, nice.
And that finally puts an Afterburn card into my discard pile, and it might be there. No, won't be there for very long. And I've got just a little lonely old blaster, which I will use my second slot to equip.
Okay, great. And that's the end of Rex and Shield Bow?
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Let's see. Boss turn.
Ooh, here we go. Homeworld suffers 2 damage.
We're down to 4 health.
Ooh. Each other minion in play, advance the supernova. Activate. Advance the supernova, which triggers the last solar flare. We're 2 spaces away from disaster there. This one says the homeworld suffers 4 damage.
And we lose.
Oh, you have to do it. Solar flare demands.
Boop. Boop.
Oh.
Boop. Burp. Solar Collision.
My gosh, we got collided so hard.
We did.
Right. Well, all we gotta do is try again.
That's all you can do.
Absolutely.
When you fall off that horse, you get back up.
You get back up. You get back up. Wow. Wow. What a tense game. What a tense game.
That was fun, though. You know what? Whenever I lose a game, it just makes me want to play it even more because I lost. And while I don't love losing, I often learn things when I lose. So you know what? I think next time I will focus more on the boss than the minions. That's my takeaway from this game.
That's fair. That's fair. There's only 2 minions in the deck. And so if we had focused our firepower there and just accepted that this was going to be our fate for much of the game, I don't know.
I also saw this when you powered it up on your last turn. This deals 8 damage to a minion. Ooh. So, like, before when I spent my 5 health on a minion, it could have... This would have been really great for when it was, like, nearly 10 health.
Right.
So there's a lot to balance. There's a lot to think about, but because there's so much, it just makes me want to play it so much more so I can figure out all of the different possible strategies.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, there you have it. We got through a big chunk of Astro Knights Eternity. Now, I do want to mention that this game is part of an overarching narrative. There's going to be a storybook that's included in the box of this game, and it's a super cool story that connects each of the games. I don't want to spoil any of it for you. You need to check it out. Speaking of checking it out, Astro Knights Eternity is quite possibly on Kickstarter at the time you're watching this video. We're going to include a link to that campaign in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. The last thing I want to say is thank you, Milo. Thank you for leading the charge of making sure that we know all the rules of this game and calling me out when I make rules errors as we go along.
No problem. It was so much fun, and thank you to Indie Boards and Cards for sponsoring this video and sending us this copy that we got to check out.
Yeah, and most of all, thank you to each and every one of you that watch the video. If you're not already, subscribe to Little Big Thumbs on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
And until then,
whether you like short games
or long games
or games that are new,
come hang out with us.
The Grotto's got you. See you next time.